How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
Nicolas Cage's Surfer is getting an uninvited assessment. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom.
Groovy. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Off Screen. So we are going to look today at the assessment. We're going to look at the Surfer and the Uninvited. There are big three this week, but we are going to start, of course, as always now, with the box office top 10. I mean, I'm not going to reveal it, but number one, I knew it was going to be number one before I even
Kind of a gimme, innit? It's kind of a gimme. Yeah, like it's the most, it's the easiest bet you'd ever take.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, obviously, we've got like half the top 10 that were press shown or things like that. I did get to see one of these this week that I was quite enchanted by, I'm happy to say. So number 10, Warfare, famously only one screening, it was at BFI, and someone went for a walk on the train lines when I was headed to it. So cheers for that, whoever you are, because I was really looking forward to an Alex Garland associated movie. Number 9, Hit, The Third Case. Asian distribution label, so I assume that's why I've not heard of a press show for that. Retro, don't know what that is. Bluey at the cinema, Let's Play Chef Collection. Well, I've never seen an episode. Have you ever seen an episode of Bluey? Because I've never seen an episode of Bluey.
My son used to watch Bluey religiously, so I've never watched one, but I've heard plenty in the background. Yeah.
You're just familiar with the noise of sort of like Baby Shark kind of thing.
Exactly that.
Drilled into you, yeah. So no idea on that one. Number 6, though, 3 weeks on release in the UK. This has made 2.6 million quid. This was not press shown, which does generally indicate the movie is terrible. Although they were advertising the hell out of it. And the movie, of course, stars Steve Coogan. And it's the Penguin Lessons. And I finally got to see this week because Faith was so excited about this movie. She's been desperate to see this. And I can genuinely tell you, we watched this because her birthday weekend this past weekend. And we watched this as part of the birthday weekend. And it really helped the festivities. It really did, because this is such a lovely film. But at the same time, not the film you think it is. It's only half about the Penguin and Steve Coogan. The other half, weirdly, is about the 30,000 or so people who were, quote-unquote, disappeared after the 1976 Argentinian coup.
What?
So, yeah, exactly that. Right, I cannot recommend heartily enough that you watch this, Adam. It's like Marley and Me, but way better. And with a penguin instead of a dog. I love this. Steve Coogan is great in it. Also, Jonathan Pryce, who's the kind of stuffy headmaster, I really liked as well. Also, gave me one of my favourite lines of dialogue from any movie ever. My eyes are moist with emotion. I love that. It perfectly described how I felt at the end of the film. So Penguin Lessons, number 6. Number 5, Until Dawn. Was not press shown. There was only a junket screening at Sony. Sorry for the behind-the-curtain peeks here. Accountant 2. Well, they got a bit snippy about who they wouldn't let in, so no, didn't see that one. Number 3, a Minecraft movie. Has now made 53.3 million quid.
Wow.
Been out for 5 weeks. Oh, my God.
Insane.
This thing's still going to be making money when it hits digital. Like, they keep it in cinemas, it will still make money. Apparently, the reasoning behind it, as you will completely understand as a parent, is it's repeat viewings for families and birthday parties and things like that. Like when they take all the kids, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's a cult following. Like, it's a cult following for the gamers. It's got such a massive audience. Of course, it was going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can even call it cult. I think it's just a straight out hit, Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's a hugely successful brand. As you said a while back, we're going to get the Roblox movie announced any minute now, and we will.
Yep.
We absolutely will. Number 2, Faith saw this on her birthday without me, and my response to this was, do you know what? It's your birthday. You have fun. Go and enjoy 2 Michael B. Jordans getting filthy. So Sinners is at number 2. It's now made 10.6 million quid, 3 weeks on release. I think it's from Dusk Till Dawn with a letterbox account and a degree in African American studies. She kind of agreed with me to an extent, but it is a banger, just undebatably. It is an absolute banger. When you see this, you will love it. Like, genuine. It's one of the slickest, coolest movies that's been around for some time. Haley Steinfeld is clearly destined to become one of the great sex symbols of our age. And the fact that the last time she was in the Marvelverse, she was sharing a lift with Florence Pugh is an irony that's not lost on me, given that, do you want to point out what number 1 is for us?
Well, at number 1, it is Thunderbolts. Been out for 1 week. It's made 5.9 million, which actually puts into perspective how popular Minecraft movie is, because that's been out 5 weeks and made 53. So even if Thunderbolts at 5.9 million after 1 week, it's not going to get anywhere near Minecraft.
If it made the same amount of money for the same amount of time that a Minecraft had been out, it would still earn less than half of Minecraft. Thunderbolts' global total, I think, is 175 for its opening weekend. Budget of 180, apparently, or so we're told. But here's a question for you. When is a spoiler not a spoiler, Mr. Ball? There is an answer.
When is a spoiler not a spoiler? When it's a tease.
No, the answer is a spoiler is not a spoiler when the studio does it. Now, you can't have, I don't know if you've caught this news story, but in the last couple of days, the marketing, all the posters and trailers and spots and cinema listings for Thunderbolts have changed the title of the film. You may remember that it's officially referred to as Thunderbolts Asterix.
Yeah.
That asterisk, you asked me about that asterisk when we reviewed it.
I did.
I said to you that to tell you that would ruin the final 10 seconds of the film. Well, guess what? It turns out that the shelf life of a $180 million movie is now 72 hours, because Marvel have just decided to do it for you. The movie has been retitled The New Avengers, which, there you go, that tells you how Thunderbolts ends.
What?
Yep. They have literally taken the poster and they've made it look like it's been ripped, and then underneath is the New Avengers in gold in the Avengers font. That's what they've done.
But why would they do that? Logically, why would they do that?
I have no idea, but they have done this all around the world. They've made a big viral marketing push about it, and this has apparently been intended from the beginning. So there you go. It's a good movie. I'm not going to deny. I saw it twice. Had a good time with it. Bob sucks, but the movie, the rest of it, is absolutely fantastic.
After all that talk about Bob, I had to Google Bob after our last.
Did you find out who Bob is?
Yes.
Did you,
I found out who Bob is. Yeah, I did.
Did you figure out why he's so uninteresting? Because
yeah,
not an interesting character.
Pointless.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, that's the box office top 10. We're going to dive into our first movie now, and I think let's make it lighthearted. Let's talk about The Uninvited, which is, of course, a comedy, and that's pretty much my knowledge of it.
Right, so this is about a sort of rich Hollywood couple played by Walton Goggins and Elizabeth Reese from, she's from the Twilight movies, she's mostly known for. They're having a big fancy dinner party for his friends and clients. He seems to be like an agent, like a Hollywood agent. And he's bringing some clients over, one of whom, played by Pedro Pascal, has a romantic past with Elizabeth Reese, but also something of an antagonistic rivalry with Walton Goggins. So Walton Goggins is freaking out about that, as well as his own sort of professional crises. He's wondering about whether or not he should change professions. And into this mix comes an old lady who they find in her car outside their home, who doesn't seem to be quite with it. And they bring into the home in order to help her and, get in touch with her relatives and find, someone who can come and get her and look after her. But she seems to know an awful lot about this house. And she and it go way back. Have a listen to this clip.
There's a Prius in the driveway. Sammy, are you expecting a delivery? Can I help you?
I have to get inside.
No, this isn't your gate.
Of course it is. I live here.
Who is this lady? Who are you?
Well, she thinks she lives here, which she obviously doesn't because, I'm pretty sure I live here.
Dozens of people are about to walk up to our front door right
You
now.
having a party?
Yes, and it's very important to my husband.
Oh, which shirt? Or maybe this turtleneck.
Office, funeral, person most likely to be murdered.
By his wife?
I mean, from your descriptions, it sounds quite deep and dark, but where does the comedy come into this?
That's the thing, because I don't get that myself. I didn't laugh once during it. Like, I don't get. It's got that sort of boom, 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 jazzy kind of accompanying score, like Birdman level score to it, that I think is meant to imply that it's funny, but it is more heavily balanced on the drama. Goggins, terrific, but really, there's not much else save, I don't know, I think I'll give it points for, hang on, I've opened the wrong page. I was looking at who Nadia Connor was. Nadia Connors has written and directed this incidentally, and I didn't recognise the name. Lois Smith is the actress who plays the elder woman they bring in. Lois Smith, very good, and Walton Goggins, terrific. And beyond that, though, I'm not overly enchanted by this. I mean, Pedro Pascal puts in what feels like a glorified cameo. It does feel like they had him for a weekend, kind of thing. Get all his scenes shot in 2 days, kind of a thing. Risa is a very uninteresting lead, a very unengaging lead, and for how much the film hangs on her, I find her incredibly just lacking and just not up to the task at all. Like, she cannot carry the level of engagement or investment that they want you to have for this. So I would call this a massive miss. It's very much a stage play type production, but clearly made on the cheap as a sort of indie film in a sort of Airbnb'd Hollywood mansion for a couple of weeks. No, I'll be honest with you. I think this was it was 97 minutes in total, so about an hour and a half plus credits. It felt overlong for that because it's a single location, it's largely dialogue driven, it drags itself out, and every second that Walton Goggins isn't on screen or Lois Smith isn't on screen, you're just not interested.
Isn't there a horror film called The Uninvited?
Yes, there are about 9 horror films.
I thought so.
Uninvited as well.
But the title lends itself to a horror movie. I just thought this was a bit weird to have it as what's meant to be a comedy, but obviously, as you say, it's not really a comedy.
Yeah, there's a horror film, I think, with the same title from about 2007, 2008. It stars, oh my God, I forget the name of the actress, but the poster is her looking into a bathroom mirror, but the shot is taken from so far back that she's in a little vest and tiny pants.
That's it.
I'll be honest with you, every man alive loved that movie poster when it was on release. That movie poster was better than the movie, genuinely. And you know what? That movie was still better than this other movie with the same title. So give this one a wide berth.
Well, if you want to check it out, you can, because The Uninvited is out in cinemas from today. Right, I'm excited about this. Next one, we're going to look at Nicolas Cage's new movie. It's called The Surfer, and we'll see what Van thought of it next. Stay there.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
So hello and welcome back to Off Screen. We are going to dive into The Surfer now. We've still got movies that are on Freeview this week to look at, movies on home platforms, and The Assessment as well. But Nicolas Cage's brand new movie, it's a psychological thriller, and the trailer, to me, makes it look amazing.
It does. It actually, visually, it looks amazing. It's got a hell of a look to it. And yeah, oh my God, you were going to want to see this.
I knew it.
Right, you're so going to want to see this. A friend of mine, who is Chris Wilson, world's biggest Nicolas Cage fanatic. Like, no joke, he went out for Halloween one year as Jesus Cage. That is an actual thing he did. And happened upon a queue that were about to enter a church on Halloween, and he taunted them, just wandered past doing the dance, dressed as Jesus Cage. Actual thing that a friend of mine did, and he's still exactly as insane to this day. He saw this about a week ahead of me at some limited preview, some one-off preview they were doing. And I'm jealous as hell, because oh my God, to have been in a cinema watching this, I watched it on a link at home. So, Nicolas Cage is a sort of American-raised man who has been born in Australia on the Gold Coast. He has returned to the Gold Coast to try and rebuild his fractured family. He has, I think he's married an Australian woman and had a son there. But he has always told his wife that one day he will buy his childhood home on the ocean front on the Gold Coast with this wonderful beach in front of it with a great surfing sort of opportunity before it. And he will move his family and he will make his family whole again. He arrives at the Gold Coast with his son, looking to close the deal on this house. And of course, his son just says, hey, while we're waiting, let's go for a surf. And he said, okay, cool. We've got the wetsuits, we've got the boards, let's go. Gets down to the beach, and as soon as he got there, then he is told, no, stop right there, pal. This ain't for you. This beach is a local beach for local people. And they drive him from the beach. And before you know it, they start to meddle with everything in his life. All of a sudden, the opportunity to buy this house is taken from him. His car goes missing. His phone is taken. His wedding ring, his watch, everything. At one point, this literally reaches the stage of the shirt on his back. This is a deeply rooted psychological thriller about the outsider being cast out by the locals. And that outsider is none other than Nicolas Cage. So I've got a clip for you. And this is him trying to involve the local authorities.
Listen, mate, I think you've been out in the sun too long.
They took it from me last night. They threatened me with a broken bottle.
Why don't you take a drink of water?
I don't want anything from you. I want my board.
So you're saying they took this from you last night?
Was I not clear?
Well, it's just the problem is, and I can tell you myself, that old board's been up there for as long as I can remember. How long?
I reckon we put it up there maybe 7 summers back now. She's a beauty, isn't she? I guess it's like a talisman for us. What the is this?
Sir, it is in your best interest to get back up to the car park and wait for me by your vehicle.
So, when is this set? Because I must say, watching the trailer, it's very... Oh, right, because it's got a very sort of 70s look about it for some reason.
Yeah, it really has got a gorgeous... It's that gold tint, isn't it?
I love it.
Tint. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking film, but it's a riveting psychological thriller. And just so there's no bones about this one, Nicolas Cage is trying in this one. Okay, this is good Cage, right? This is the good Cage. This is the Cage we like. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Cage we really like is the face-off Cage. That's the one we really like. But this is a close second. This is Cage as kind of the everyman, who he's meant to be a normal guy. He just happens to look and sound like Nicolas Cage, but he's a normal guy and not just a struggling father. But he's not even a struggling father. He's an ordinary, reasonably successful father who just wants nothing more than just to buy this house and keep his family together. And he's then pushed to his limit. As a father yourself, I think it's something you would find very difficult at times to watch for that reason.
I was going to say, is he kind of the Con Air Nicolas Cage? Because that's a bit more of a normalish guy that then flips at the right time.
That is a lot more heroic a character. This is not that kind of movie. This is meant to be. It's very much a cheap thrills, a funny games. In fact, Funny Games is a very good thing to compare it to because it was about ordinary people who were just used to living an ordinary life and what happens when 2 psychopaths torment you, and how do you actually behave? Like with your wife and son, they're like, how do you behave? Like, what do you do? What can you actually do? Not what would you do in a movie, what would you actually do? And this is going down the same road. Only they're not doing it in a very nice New England home in the dead of night, like that movie did, like Michael Haneke did twice in that one, weirdly, because he made that movie twice, once in English, once in his native tongue. This is, in fact, Speak No Evil. Speak No Evil as well would be quite comparable to this. When you are pushed to that limit, what does an ordinary man do? And Speak No Evil and Funny Games are very good comparison pieces, but they are the nighttime versions of this. This is the daytime. And there's something so much more terrifying about this happening in literally the blistering Australian sunshine. And it's made even creepier by Julian McMahon, of all people, playing the antagonist, playing the leader of, I think they call the Beach Boys, or something like that, or the Beach Rats, or something like that.
And they get around.
They get around. Beach Boys are Beach Rats, I think they call them. Or Bay Boys. They're called the Bay Boys. That's what it is. Because it's the Bay. They are the Bay.
That sounds like a boy band.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like a really crap Australian moment? Like
Yeah, it does.
One of those knockoff bands like O-Town that they released to like attempt to catch it on Backstreet Boys.
Hi there, we are the Bay Boys, and this is our new single.
Very much there. Very much. But no, Julian McMahon, scary as hell in this. I mean, I was reminded at times of those great scenes in Point Break, for instance, when Keanu kind of deals with this as well. This is our beach. This is not for you kind of mentality. But the limits to which this goes, and I am specifically holding back a lot from when I'm telling you about the plot, because this thing takes turns. It takes a good pair of turns that you're just like, whoa, are we really doing this? Okay. It does also feature a trippy sequence to rival Mandy, the other Nicolas Cage sort of psychedelic one. There's a sort of psychedelic trippy sequence in this that I thought was really well executed, and I've not heard back from him since I watched this. I watched this morning, but Wilson did tell me there is a meme that's going to come out of this movie, and it is going to enter the Nicolas Cage Hall of Fame. As you know, that is really saying something. I'm like, yes, it is. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but a long time ago, prior to you taking over co-hosting on this, in the Case Allen era, we used to end every single show with a riff on The Daily Show. It's where they would say, here it is, your moment of Zen. We would say, here it is, your moment of Cage. And we would play an insane clip of Nicolas Cage. And we never reused one. We did it for about 150 episodes and we never had to reuse one. The man just delivers the goods. He is meme fodder incarnate. And yes, I think I know what Wilson meant on this. And it involves a rat, I believe. So, yeah, he says you'll know it when you see it. And I think that's what he was talking about. I think this is straight up brilliant. I think this is, so far, one of my favorite times with any movie this year. Like, because it just felt like Funny Games to me and Speak No Evil. I went, yeah, this gets put in that Matalan box set, that the hypothetical Matalan box set I'm so fond of. Yes, absolute banger. See this. Like, absolute, because, the only other film, the big heavy hitter that's going to be out this week is The Wedding Bouquet, which I think there was only one screening of, so I didn't get to go and see. So I definitely, heartily recommend that if you want to get the pictures this weekend, and you've already seen Thunderbolts / The New Avengers, then go and see The Surfer, and see if, in the first 15 minutes, you had any idea where this is going to go. Because I promise, at the end of 100 minutes... You will not have figured that out. It will not be where you thought it was gonna go. I think this is fantastic. I think it's one of the best things probably the best thing Cage has been in since Pig. If you remember that one from like 3-4 years ago. This is his best movie since Pig, hands down.
Wow. You sold it to me. I'm a Nicolas Cage fan anyway, but I really want to see this now.
The other thing is about how it looks and about the style of it. It's directed by Lorcan Finnegan as well, who did Vivarium with Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg a few years during the pandemic. Early months of the pandemic, we reviewed it. I think we reviewed it on BBC, you and I. And it was, there were a couple who moved into, went to a show home and they were kind of isolated there on their own. And there was no one else in the neighborhood. And when they tried to escape, the road just went on and on and on. It was a really trippy sort of Black Mirror type.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
They just kept driving past the same spot, didn't they? Yes,
that one.
Yes.
This is the same director. This is him. He's an Irish guy, and I tell you, incredible. I can't wait. I'm showing this to Faith first chance I get. I think this is a banger.
Well, you can join in and watch it as well and make your own mind up. It's in cinemas from today. Just look for The Surfer. Right, we're going to look at the assessment in a bit, but next, movies on Freeview this week. So essentially, movies you can watch for free. We'll be back. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. The Assessment is another movie we're going to look at in the next block. But right now, this is all about movies on Freeview this week. So then, Van, I've seen a few on here that I'll definitely be pressing the record button on this week if I'm not around. So let's start today then, Friday, Crank 2 High Voltage. Now, I've never seen this one.
Have you seen the first one? Out of interest.
A long time ago, yeah.
A long time ago. So the premise of the first one was that Jason Statham was a hitman who got poisoned by a rival hitman, and he had to keep his adrenaline up or he died.
Yeah.
And this just led to one of the most... It was basically... And I said this at the time, when I was like 23 when I saw the first one. And I remember saying to him, this is Grand Theft Auto, the movie. That's literally what Jason Statham has started, is Grand Theft Auto, the movie. And that continues for the second one, in which, having been thrown out of a helicopter and landing on the pavement at the end of the first movie and seemingly being dead, Chef Chelios, the best-named character in the history of cinema, Chef Chelios, that's Statham's name in this was Chef Chelios, is given an artificial heart that, in order to keep him going, requires him to constantly electrocute himself. And he goes off on a similar mission, like a Grand Theft Auto type mission from as the first movie, but just electrifying himself this time instead of using adrenaline. This is where it gets really interesting. This movie, the second one, came out in 2009, and this was the exact time that GoPros hit the market. And the makers of this movie used them. It was one of the first movies in which anyone thought to use things like action cams and GoPros. So this is a much more insane, frenetic, energetic, hyperactive kind of a movie. It's also way more perverse, way sillier, and yes, still features a cameo from Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. The late, great Chester Bennington appears yet again. He was in the first movie as well in the small role. Absolute banger. You can see this tonight on the Horror Channel at 5 to 11. It's at 10:55. I know you've seen the one that's on Saturday night. Don't.
Oh, hell yeah. Many times. Many times.
Go on.
So, tomorrow, Saturday night, ITV at 11:10, Speed. I mean, who doesn't love Speed?
Pop quiz, hot shots. I love this movie. What is it that Homer Simpson called it? There's a movie about this bus that had to speed, and if its speed dropped below 50, it would blow up. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. one of Keanu Reeves' finest works, and believe me, that man has some bangers to his name. Yeah. Also, this has a script doctored by Joss Whedon. As well, back when Joss Whedon's name carried some weight. This was one of his earlier efforts. He was the script doctor on this, and boy, can you tell, because the writing on this thing is absolutely cracking. There are so many good one-liners in this, and this is the movie that made an instant star out of Sandra Bullock. So we are all indebted to Speed forever, really. We just never, ever speak about its sequel, I don't think. Did you ever see Speed 2?
I think I started watching it and gave up.
Yeah, that was the one on the cruise ship. Oh my God, that was bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Sunday I know you've seen. If you've not seen Sundays, this show is getting cancelled if you've not seen Sundays.
Oh yeah, I've seen Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, ITV, Sunday, 6:25. And do you know what? I'm so glad it's on a Sunday, because it's such a Sunday afternoon movie, right?
Isn't it? Right, it is, isn't it? It's the perfect, especially this one. Like this one, because I will go out on a limb and say that this is the best Indiana Jones movie. Like it's between this and the first one, isn't it? Universally,
I'll agree.
We all agree. Yeah, I think this is the best one. He's also got a sort of a minor role for the late River Phoenix at the start of it when they do the whole young Indiana Jones sequence. When he's being chased, that's River Phoenix as young Indy. You know, when he was the sort of he was the Leo of his time, the sort of child actor who was sort of breaking into his teen phase kind of thing. Obviously, tragically passed. I think it was 4 or 5 years after this. Famously outside the Viper Room. This is just the pinnacle of Indiana Jones. It's Indy and Dad, Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, in search of the Holy Grail, trying to beat the Nazis to it. And just the action sequences of this. Oh wow! Like I don't think some of these have ever been topped. Like
I'd agree. I mean, they're as good as Temple of Doom, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, Temple of Doom, I think, has the most iconic sort of action sequences
with the big ball rolling behind them on the.
That one's the big ball is Raiders.
Oh, is it?
Temple of Doom is where they jump out the plane in the dinghy and they have the mine shaft chase.
Yes, the mine shaft. Yes, that's right. I was confusing the mine shaft with the.
Kalima.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, why would you? Why would you not want to watch it?
Yeah, I want an ice cream dish that is the monkey skull from Temple of Doom. If anyone knows where I can get one, please show me that. But yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is on Sunday. Like you say, perfect family film Sunday tea time. Like when you're settling down at the end of the weekend. Oh yeah, whack this on ITV. Monday's one. Have you seen Mission Impossible 2? The second one?
I'm pretty certain I have. You'll have to remind me which one it is, though. Is this the one that's in Italy?
No. Mission Impossible 2 is the one that's in Australia and is best described as the one where they tried to go nu metal from the director of Face Off. This is the one that had the Limp Bizkit theme song. This is the one that has Take a Look Around on it, where Tom Cruise has the long hair, the leather jacket, he's riding a motorcycle, and all of a sudden it's gunplay. Like the first movie had like no guns in it, and the second one is all guns all the time, slow-mo, white doves, because John Woo movie. Cracking soundtrack. Dougray Scott is the villain in this and famously lost and had to give up the role of Wolverine in X-Men because of the reshoots on this movie. He was supposed to fly over and play Wolverine, but then they did reshoots on this movie and he had to withdraw from X-Men. It went to a little-known Australian dancer, showman type, like no one had ever heard of, named Hugh Jackman, but, no one ever heard of him again. Not like Dougray Scott, who's had a banging career ever since. But, this is the one that basically has the plot of the PlayStation video game series Siphon Filter, where it's all about a bioweapon, and Tandaway Newton is the female lead in it. Also, a little cameo from Anthony Hopkins as the secretary of IMF in this one. He gets to say the great line, "It's not mission difficult, Mr. Hunt, it's mission impossible." So you can see that Monday night at 9 o'clock on ITV4. Right, I know you know the music, but do you know the movie? Tuesday, film 4, 7:15, Fisherman's Friends. Do you know the film? Or
never seen it. Nothing. I know. No, I know nothing about the band, the movie, nothing.
Right, they were the Port Royal Men's Choir. They were made out of they were a fisherman crew. This is a true story, and they went on Britain's Got Talent, as far as I understand it, and they became a smash hit. There is a sequel to this movie because the movie made a lot of money. It's a very Cornish movie. It's kind of like The Surfer. It's very much a we're local here kind of a movie, very much. And,
give us our pasty back.
Very much like that, but it's about the fishermen and their choir, their men's choir, and how they get discovered and go to London and record an album. And it's such a charming, lovely little film. Like, do watch it. Seek this out and watch it. I think it might be on one of the streamers. Check Just Watch. It'll be on one of the streamers. It's very good. It's on, as I say, on Freeview on Tuesday night, 7:15 on Film 4. I heartily, you will love it. This is one, just curl up with the lady and watch this one. You'll feel charmed and enchanted, I'm sure.
That's what we want. Wednesday, again, one I've seen but can't quite remember because it was a long time ago, Alien Resurrection, ITV4, at 11:15.
This is written by Joss Whedon, funnily enough, and is a terrible movie, but it has its moments. It's very strange. There is a director's cut, which I presume this isn't, that I only saw for the first time very recently, and I will say is a marked improvement. It does add a lot more lore from the Alien universe. But the first one is an interesting halfway, but not even halfway. It tries to have elements of all the three that came before it. Noticeably features Sigourney Weaver as a clone of Ripley rather than the original Ripley, but it has a great supporting cast that includes Dan Hedaya, Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Michael, oh God, what is his name? I can never remember his name. Michael Wincott, you know, the one who talks like this. I'm Michael Wincott. You ask him any question, like, how did you do that? I'm Michael Wincott. That will be his answer. Because he just stands around and, yeah, just talks like that. But yeah, some good fun. And also, that underwater sequence is an all-timer. Where the xenomorphs go underwater in a flooded kitchen. That is just what that was the reason to see the movie. That was one of the coolest things we'd ever seen in '97. And famously, I was not old enough to get into a cinema and see it when it was released. I was devastated, as you can imagine.
I can.
And finally, this week, of course, comes from, I believe this has a script by Nick Hornby, but it's not based on one of his novels. This is a screenwriter gig. Brooklyn, starring Saoirse Ronan, about an Irish immigrant moving to the States, back in the early 20th century. She received an Oscar nomination for this, as far as my memory serves. This is on 7:30 Thursday night on BBC 4. Kind of the perfect time to see it. It's one that I think it works for all ages, above adults of all ages, we'll say. Like the grandparents, I think, can enjoy this as much as, a 30-year-old, for instance. Very charming movie with a great central performance from Saoirse Ronan, as I say. Heartily recommend that one as well.
Fabulous. All right. Well, we're going to look at movies on home platforms this week in a moment, and then the final brand new movie of the week, The Assessment. We'll see what Van thought of that in just a second. Stay there.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
Hello and welcome back for the final part of this week's Off-Screen. We're going to look at The Assessment, brand new movie out on Prime Video this week in a moment. But first of all, movies on home platforms. So these are the movies that you can watch from home if you subscribe to any of the home platforms. So let's start today. Teenage Kraken, Ruby Gillman. Yeah. I don't think I know anything about this.
It was a very quiet release, and it's a DreamWorks release about a teenage girl who also happens to be a squid, a kraken. I've never seen this. I thought, oh my God, I'm finally going to get the chance to watch this. So it's on Netflix from today. It was not widely press shown or anything. It was like a Sunday morning screening. I think it was on holiday at the time. I'm looking forward to it, though. DreamWorks movie I've never seen. So, at the very least, it's a 3-star movie. But we're going to keep the Mission Impossible train rolling this week as well, because it's almost like there's a new one on the horizon. Sunday, Netflix are getting Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, the most recent one. The part 1 that we're about to get part 2 of at the end, later this month. So this is the AI one. This is where Ethan Hunt and the team go up against an insane AI known as the Entity. And it's an entity so genuinely chilling that it apparently terrified Joe Biden when he screened it in the White House screening room, that he actually initiated a panel that actually oversaw AI legislation about AI. That's how much of an effect this had. But I thought this was among the best Mission Impossible movies. There are a lot of people who are quite sniffy about it, but I think it's great, and I think Hayley Atwell actually steals the film as a really old school, late 90s, breakout performance for a female lead. She's great here.
I'm just wondering if this is the one that I've seen. Sorry to interrupt. Is this the one where the AI stops all the traffic lights and stuff?
It can do and things, yes.
That might be the one I've seen then, because I want to watch it again so that I'm all prepped and ready for part 2, you see. So that's on my list over the next few weeks.
You absolutely should. It's a great movie, in my opinion. On disc this week, though, on Monday, we're getting 3 quite high-profile films of recent months. The animated film Dogman, that I was quite a big fan of. Did not expect that to be good, but it turned out to be an absolute corker. Did not expect in any way, shape, or form to enjoy what is effectively children's RoboCop. But, okay, if Albert hasn't seen this yet, I strongly advise that you show it to him. Q Kwan in Love Hurts, the latest from 87 North. That's on disc on Monday as well. And Daniel Craig in Queer, in which he delivers a fantastic performance in a boring as hell movie. But you know what? It's Luca Guadagnino, so it's Luca Guadagnino. So people are, falling over themselves to pat this thing on the back. But as I say, so that's what you get at home this week. You also, of course, get our final film that we're going to review as well, of course, but can't bear them.
Yes, we are looking at the Assessment. So this is billed as a psychological drama and dystopian sci-fi, which actually I quite like the sound of that, to be quite honest.
It's basically a Black Mirror episode. You've got a future in which birth is monitored and controlled. People have to take an assessment before they are allowed to have a child, which, if we're being really honest, I think is something we could use in the world. Just putting it out there. I wouldn't be averse to hearing about it. I'm never going to have children, like ever. So I'm on board with this. I really don't need people's potato-faced screech machines preach to me as the be-all and end-all. Just obviously take that from a childless man. I am aware that I'm speaking to a parent when I say that.
No, but I agree with you.
There you go. I always notice that my friends tend to have the good kids. Anyway, yourself included, sir. So, Himesh Patel from Yesterday, the Beatles movie, the one where the Beatles are erased from history.
Yes, he was also from EastEnders.
Yes, he was, because people took issue with the fact that Yesterday was introducing Himesh Patel. You're like, yeah, he was on EastEnders for like 5 years, buddy. He ain't introduced to nobody.
Yeah.
He and Elizabeth Olsen, the Scarlet Witch, are a pretty well-to-do couple in this very Black Mirror-like sci-fi type future. They want to have a child, and Alicia Vikander turns up at their door as a government administrator there to do their assessment, to find out if they're up to the task of parenting. And to do this, she first asks them a series of very personal, very invasive questions, and then she starts to prod them and poke them, figuratively speaking, obviously, to the extent of performing as a child of different ages to see how far she can provoke them. And not to spoil anything for you, but the answer is pretty darn far. Have a listen.
Your visitor has arrived. I'm Virginia, your assessor. Over the next 7 days, you'll undergo close observation and formal testing to ascertain suitability for parenting. I want to get to know the real you.
Is that a good idea?
Yes.
I was joking.
Assessment is a rigorous process. It'll do. With a high threshold for success.
Oh, Virginia.
Oh my God. I need to assess all aspects of your relationship.
How's assessment going so far?
It's a nightmare.
Does he play the same kind of character as he did in Yesterday, though? And I say that because I found how he was in Yesterday was very similar to how he was in EastEnders.
Yes, very much. I agree with you on that, actually, yeah. First of all, the movie itself, which I think is terrific. This is a great movie. This should be talked about in the same breath as... I think it's not quite as good as Ex Machina, but I think people who like Black Mirror should be talking this thing up a storm. It is halfway between Ex Machina and Splice, if you ever saw that. That movie. And to an extent, I suppose, Companion, maybe. But anyway, great performances from all three, particularly Vikander. And she's been something of a damp squib for the last few years. She seemed to be the next huge deal, Alicia Vikander. And then it sort of just fizzled out for her around 2018, 2019. After the Tomb Raider movie that didn't quite do that well, the Tomb Raider reboot, she seemed to just sort of fizzle out. She was in a couple of things, but nobody was racing to see them, and none of them particularly looked that appealing. I can't remember what most of them were offhand, and I probably reviewed them all. And I literally can't name one of them beyond Tulip Fever, a very disappointing attempt at a period piece erotic thriller starring her and Dane DeHaan, which, was neither erotic nor thrilling, to be really honest. This... I like this. Very cool. It's very cool, very stylish, very slick, very sexy, but also very disturbing at times, very perverse, very dark, the areas it goes into. As I say, Black Mirror fans, don't sleep on this one, because I know the most recent Black Mirror season came out like 3 weeks ago, so I'm guessing most fans have finished it by now. Watch this next. Go from Netflix to Prime and watch this next. Definitely, because if this had been a Black Mirror episode, I wouldn't have been shocked. It would have fit completely, and it probably would have looked and felt the part, to be really honest. But Himesh Patel and Elizabeth Olsen are saying very, very good. But, is Alicia Vikander firing on all cylinders? And when you consider that she was the woman in Ex Machina, the robot, that's quite interesting as well. So definitely check this out. Like I say, halfway between that and Splice, definitely.
Well, if you do want to watch it, as Van just said, it's on Prime Video already from yesterday, actually. So if you want to watch it, go and search for The Assessment. Well, that is, of course, all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will be back next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor, and we shall return.